Have you ever sent a perfectly normal message, like maybe just a quick text to a friend or an email to a colleague, and then you reread it a second later and thought, wait, why do I sound so angry?
Oh, yeah. All the time.
Right. Or maybe you've walked away from a face-to-face conversation feeling like you totally ruined it, even though, you used all the right vocabulary and your grammar was technically flawless.
Well, within the next 60 minutes, you will discover the hidden mechanics of human connection. We are going to learn the exact psychological, nonverbal, and vocal shifts that make people listen to you, trust you, and respect you in any room, even if, your grammar isn't perfect.
Yeah, that's the dream, right?
Exactly. I mean, we are going to deconstruct the invisible forces that dictate whether people lean in when you speak or unconsciously pull away.
I love that. So today we are going to unpack exactly 10 crucial communication upgrades. But before we reveal the total number of important points and break down each one, just know this: mastering just 3 of these can completely change the trajectory of your career, your friendships, and your relationships.
Truly life-changing stuff.
It really is. So welcome to English Learning Podcast for daily life, real conversation, and easy listening practice. We are calling this session a deep dive, and we are absolutely thrilled you're here for it.
We really are. And we want to speak directly to you right now, the learner, whether you are at a B2 or C1 level in your English journey, or whether you are a professional stepping into a daunting job interview, or just someone fiercely curious about human behavior who wants to connect better with friends.
Yeah, this is for you.
Exactly. You do not need to change your personality today. You don't need to become someone you're not. You just need a few small, highly strategic upgrades to how you deliver your message.
Right, exactly. Don't worry about being perfect today. Just speak up, practice with us, and let your confidence grow. And look, if some of the concepts or words are new, that is entirely okay. We will break them down organically.
For sure.
And to kick things off, let's look at our first vocabulary spotlight. Today's entire deep dive revolves around a very famous English idiom, which is, put yourself in someone else's shoes.
Ah, that's a brilliant, highly evocative phrase. I mean, literally, it sounds like you are trying on someone else's footwear.
Yeah.
Which is, a funny image.
It's a very weird visual if you think about it too much.
It really is. But figuratively, it means to imagine you're in their exact situation, feeling what they're feeling, and seeing the world from their unique perspective.
Right.
It requires suspending your own ego for a moment. And throughout this entire deep dive, we are going to be putting ourselves in the shoes of our listeners, our colleagues, and our friends, just, analyzing how our words and actions land on them.
Okay, let's unpack this. What if I told you that the most important part of your next conversation will happen before you even open your mouth?
I mean, it sounds like a paradox, doesn't it? Like, how can communication happen before you speak?
Right. It sounds impossible.
But biologically speaking, it is an absolute reality. We are beginning with physical presence because human beings read energy long before they process vocabulary.
Wow, before a single word.
Yes, before a single syllable leaves your lips, your body has already broadcasted a highly complex, multi-layered message to everyone in the room.
Okay, so let's dive right into upgrade 1, which is nonverbal communication. Now, for our advanced learners, nonverbal is an essential C1 level concept. It literally means communication without words. So your gestures, your facial expressions, your micro movements.
Right.
And it is believed that first impressions are locked in within just 7 seconds. 7 seconds.
It's crazy fast.
You basically walk into a room, blink twice, pull out a chair, and boom, the other person's brain has already made a definitive decision about your competence and trustworthiness.
What's fascinating here is the evolutionary psychology behind those 7 seconds. Why is the brain in such a rush to judge?
Yeah, why not take a minute to figure the person out?
Because it's a survival mechanism. It is believed that our brains are hardwired from ancient times to instantly assess if someone approaching us is a friend or a threat. Like, are they confident and capable or anxious and erratic?
Oh, so it's literally life or death for the ancient brain.
Exactly. The amygdala, which is the brain's threat detection center, scans your nonverbal signals instantly. Now, in modern times, there are no tigers in the boardroom, obviously.
Let's hope not.
Right. But this ancient hardware translates directly into our professional and personal lives. And this is where we must talk about posture.
Posture. That's a great B2 word, by the way. It simply means the position in which you hold your body when you sit or stand.
Exactly. And the structural alignment of your posture sends immediate signals to that ancient part of the observer's brain. So if you have a tight, slouched body,
Oh, wait, let's explain slouched. Slouched is a fantastic C1 word, guys. It means sitting in a bent, tired, almost collapsed way with your shoulders rounded forward.
yeah, perfect definition. When you are slouched, you are physically protecting your vital organs. Unconsciously, you are sending a signal of defeat, submission, or fear.
Wow.
But contrast that with relaxed shoulders, a steady, upright posture, and a natural smile. And I don't mean a fake frozen passport photo smile, but, a genuine expression of ease.
I love that you mentioned the passport photo smile. We all know that look.
Oh, yeah.
It's so stiff, it doesn't reach the eyes, and frankly, it makes the person looking at it feel a little on edge. But let's break down the why here. Let's say my English grammar is absolutely flawless. I have perfectly memorized my presentation. Why does my slouching or my tense face ruin the message?
Because of cognitive dissonance.
Okay, what's that?
Well, when a body says, I respect myself, I am comfortable, and I respect you, the listener's brain automatically assigns authority and warmth to the speaker. But if your words say, I am highly confident I can do this job, while your eyes are staring at the floor, your hands are fidgeting, and your shoulders are slouched up around your ears.
Your body is basically screaming, I am terrified.
Yes, exactly. Your nonverbal communication is screaming fear. And when there is a mismatch between what your words say and what your body says, the listener will always believe the body over the words.
Always.
Always. The brain trusts the ancient nonverbal cues way more than the modern linguistic ones.
That brings a really powerful visual to mind. Let me paint a picture for you, our listener. Put yourself in the shoes of a hiring manager.
Good idiom use.
Thank you. So imagine a job interview waiting room. There are two candidates sitting there, and let's say they have the exact same degree, the exact same resume, the exact same technical skills.
Okay, an even playing field.
Right. But candidate one is sitting there, tapping their foot rapidly against the floor, staring down at their phone, breathing in shallow little gasps, and severely slouched in the chair.
I'm getting stressed just picturing it.
Right. The body is effectively vibrating with anxiety. It's saying, I am not ready for this pressure.
Right. And the hiring manager's brain instantly registers that anxiety. And it actually makes the hiring manager feel slightly anxious too.
Exactly. But then you have candidate two. Candidate two is sitting up straight, but not rigid like a statue. Their shoulders are relaxed, pulled slightly back. They take slow, deep breaths. They have a small, calm smile when the receptionist walks by.
A completely different vibe.
Totally. Now here is the magic. When the interviewer walks into that waiting room, before they even say hello, before a single word of B2 or C1 English is spoken, they naturally feel more positive, more settled, and more trusting of candidate 2.
Yeah, and if we look closely at what candidate 2 did, they utilized a powerful concept expressed in a great B2C1 phrasal verb, which is to walk into a room with presence.
Ooh. Walk into, let's break that down.
Yeah, so to walk into somewhere doesn't just mean the physical act of stepping through a door. It means to enter a situation carrying a specific energy and intention.
Like you don't just enter a room, you bring a mood with you.
Exactly. When you walk into a meeting with calm energy, people notice. It sets the emotional tone for everything that follows. Let's use it in a sentence. You could say, when she walked into the negotiation, her calm posture immediately earned everyone's respect.
That is so true. But here's where it gets really interesting, and I want to push back on this a little.
Sure, go ahead.
If my body speaks before my mouth, isn't that just the classic fake it till you make it advice? I mean, what if I am genuinely terrified inside? My palms are sweating, my heart is racing. Am I just acting? Because people can usually spot a fake.
That is a very astute point, and it raises an important question. You're right. People absolutely can spot forced acting. But adjusting your posture isn't about faking confidence to trick the other person.
It's not.
No, it's about utilizing biological mechanics to project a steady inner calm, which actually, believe it or not, creates that calm.
Wait, how does changing my posture create actual calm, like biologically?
It's called biofeedback.
Yeah.
Your brain and your body are in constant communication. When you are nervous, your brain tells your body to slouch, shrink, and breathe shallowly.
Makes sense.
But it works in reverse, too. When you consciously choose to sit up straight, roll your shoulders back, and breathe deeply into your stomach, you are sending a biological signal up the vagus nerve back to your brain that says, hey, we are safe. Yeah, this physical adjustment actually lowers your own cortisol levels, cortisol being the primary stress hormone. You aren't tricking the interviewer. You are actively regulating your own nervous system. You are choosing to project steadiness, giving your bravery a chance to catch up with you.
That is profound. You are literally telling your brain to calm down by changing the shape of your body.
Exactly.
So we have the body language down, we've mastered the silent signals, but let's talk about upgrade 7, which fits perfectly right here, the music of your words. Because even if you aren't talking right away, how you eventually speak carries massive weight.
Yes. If your words are the passengers, your vocal tone is the vehicle that carries them.
Yeah.
Let's look at pace first, how fast or slow you speak. Why do people speed up when they are nervous?
Oh, speed up. That is a highly useful B2 phrasal verb. It means to increase in pace or velocity. Like when we get nervous, we tend to speed up our speech.
We do. We tend to speed up when adrenaline hits our system.
It's like the mouth is running away from the brain. I know when I get nervous, I just want the spotlight off me, so I try to cram an entire paragraph into 3 seconds. I'm so desperate to get the words out and finish my turn speaking that I just rush through all the syllables.
Exactly. It's a verbal flight response. And when you do that, it doesn't matter how advanced or articulate your vocabulary is, The listener unconsciously absorbs your rushing.
And then they feel stress.
Right. It makes them feel rushed and anxious too. Then we have pitch, how high or low your voice resonates. When tension grips your vocal cords, your pitch naturally rises.
You sound squeaky.
Yes. And finally, we have pauses, which are the silent, deliberate spaces between your thoughts.
Let's demonstrate the sheer power of this music. Think about the simple phrase, no problem, just 2 very basic words. But the music of those words changes the meaning entirely. Let's say a colleague asks me to help with a late project. If I say it really fast with a high pitch and no pause, like, no problem, no problem,
Wow.
What does that sound like?
It sounds like you are eager to please, but perhaps a little frantic. Or, ironically, it sounds like it actually is a massive problem, but you are desperately trying to deny it to avoid conflict. It definitely does not project authority.
Okay, what if I say it with a flat, low pitch and a sharp, hard stop between the words, no, problem?
Oh, that changes the emotional landscape entirely. That sounds dismissive, almost passive-aggressive or angry, like you are saying, don't ever bother me with this again.
Right. But if I take a small, deliberate pause, use a steady, warm, medium pitch, and just say it smoothly, no problem. It sounds entirely different.
It sounds like true reassurance.
Yeah.
It creates a feeling of safety for the listener. They believe that you actually have the capacity to handle it. And, for our listeners right now who might feel a bit overwhelmed by trying to consciously monitor their posture, their breathing, their pace, their pitch, and their English vocabulary all at the exact same time.
Which is a lot to handle.
It is. So I want to introduce a wonderful C1 phrasal verb here, which is wash over.
Ooh, wash over. I love the imagery of that.
It's great. To let something wash over you means to let it flow past you, like water in a river, without stressing about grabbing or understanding every single detail.
Like letting a wave just hit you at the beach, but you don't fight it.
Exactly. If you are in a high-stakes conversation or even just listening to a fast-paced podcast and it feels like too much information is coming at you too quickly, you don't have to catch every word. Just breathe. Adjust your posture to that steady, upright position and let the words wash over you like background music for a second until you catch your rhythm again. You are allowed to take a pause.
Let's give an example sentence for that one. You
Yeah.
could say, if the conversation is too fast, just let the words wash over you. That is such a comforting, practical thought. Just let the stress wash over you. Don't fight the current. Just stand firm in it. Beautifully said. Now, we are about 10 minutes into our deep dive, and I just want to enthusiastically remind you, the listener, if you are finding value in this deep dive so far, please like, share, and subscribe. Smash that like button. It truly helps more learners find our deep dives, join our community, and grow their confidence alongside you.
It really does. Every interaction, every like, helps the community grow and tells the algorithm that this is valuable knowledge for learners.
So your body is calm, your posture is steady and commanding, and your voice has that beautiful, reassuring music to it. But what happens if the words you say just float away? What if they are instantly forgotten by the listener the moment you leave the room?
That's a nightmare scenario for a lot of people.
It is, but we fix that next.
Yes, moving from how we sound to what we say is a crucial transition. The goal of ultimate communication isn't just to be heard in the present moment. It's to make the message stick in the listener's mind and heart long after the interaction is over. You want your ideas to have staying power.
Which brings us directly to upgrade 2, storytelling. There is a famous saying in business and communication, facts tell, but stories sell.
I love that phrase.
And by sell, we don't necessarily mean exchanging money for a product. We mean selling an idea, selling your reliability, selling your perspective to a friend or a boss.
Right. And what's fascinating here is how the human brain processes different types of information. It is believed that if you give someone a list of statistics, bullet points, or raw facts, only the language processing parts of their brain, specifically Broca's area and Wernicke's area, activate. They're simply decoding the meaning of the words into English. It's a very cold, mechanical process.
So they hear you, they understand the data, but they don't necessarily care about it.
Exactly. They get it, but they don't feel it. But if you take those same facts and wrap them in a narrative, if you tell them a story, the brain behaves entirely differently. The sensory cortex lights up, the motor cortex activates.
The whole brain gets involved.
Yes. Through a process called neural coupling, the listener's brainwaves actually begin to synchronize with yours. They literally begin to experience the story with you. This is why stories are exponentially more memorable than raw data.
Okay, let's unpack this with a concrete, real-world example so our listeners can apply it immediately. Let's talk about Clara.
Okay, Claire.
Clara is a highly skilled professional who is really struggling to be heard and respected at work. Now, if Clara just marched up to her boss and presented a fact saying, I am practicing my English and I want more responsibility on the next project, that's a fact. It's fine. It's clear. But it's easily forgotten because it doesn't trigger any sensory engagement.
Yes, it completely lacks emotional resonance. It's just data.
But what if Clara uses the microstory formula?
Tell me about this formula.
The microstory formula is remarkably simple, and you don't need to be a professional novelist to use it effectively in daily conversation. It has 3 distinct parts. First, before I struggled. Second, then I tried one small thing. And third, now I feel different. I love the simplicity of that formula. Before I struggled, then I tried one small thing. Now I feel different. It's so clean, and it doesn't require a massive C1 vocabulary to execute.
Not at all.
So, using that framework, Clara's story to her boss would sound like this. She'd say, before I really struggled with confidence in our morning meetings. My heart would race and my mind would just go blank. Then I tried one small thing. I started recording 30-second voice notes of my ideas on my phone every night before bed. It was super messy at first. But now, a month later, I feel completely different. I feel ready to contribute my ideas to the team and take on more responsibility.
Notice what happened there neurologically. Clara didn't provide a long, exhausting history of her life. She didn't complain.
Right, no whining.
Exactly. She gave a quick, relatable struggle that showed vulnerability, a specific action that showed initiative, and a positive result that showed growth. When you share a micro story like that, the boss doesn't just hear the request for more work. They mentally picture Clara practicing at night. They feel the anxiety of the before and the triumph of the now.
And it makes you incredibly human. It makes the listener root for you. But, storytelling is only half the equation when it comes to making your words truly memorable. Upgrade 3 is where the real, deep, unbreakable connection happens, and that is empathy.
Empathy is huge.
It is. Now, empathy is a profound C1 level word. It means the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. It's the literal embodiment of our idiom, putting yourself in someone else's shoes.
It's critically important to distinguish empathy from sympathy, though. They sound similar, but they operate entirely differently.
Oh, how so?
Well, sympathy is feeling sorry for someone from a safe distance, is looking down into a hole someone is trapped in and saying, oh, wow, that looks really dark down there. That's too bad.
Good luck with that hole.
Exactly. But empathy is climbing down into the hole with them and saying, it's really dark down here. I'm with you. In conversation, empathy means listening fully, acknowledging their feelings without judgment, and this is the hardest part for many of us, not instantly trying to fix their problem.
Yes. Oh, the urge to fix things is so incredibly strong, especially when we care about the person. When a friend or a partner tells you they are stressed about money or work, the immediate knee-jerk reaction is to grab a toolbox.
We want to solve it.
Right. We say, well, did you try making a budget? Did you try going to sleep earlier? Have you talked to HR? We think we are helping, but that's not empathy.
It isn't, because fixing is often about relieving our own anxiety, not theirs. We don't like seeing them in pain, so we try to rush them out of it. But if we look at the psychology of safety, when genuine empathy is present, people's nervous systems actually relax on their own. Empathy isn't about solving the complex math problem of their life. It's simply being a willing witness to their emotional experience.
Let's look at a very common, very modern example of how this plays out in digital communication. Let's contrast these 2 text messages. You text a friend and say, man, I'm having a really hard, overwhelming day today. And friend 1 replies, Oh, okay. Hope it gets better soon.
That response, while polite and socially acceptable, effectively shuts down the conversation.
It really does.
It completely lacks the C1 concept of acknowledgement. To acknowledge means to notice and accept something as real and valid. Friend 1 saw the emotion but immediately swept it under the rug. They ignored the weight of the pain.
Right. And as the sender, you suddenly feel very lonely. You feel like a burden. Now let's look at friend 2. Friend 2 replies, "That sounds incredibly heavy. Do you want to talk about it?"
Instantly, the dynamic shifts. The tension leaves your shoulders. Friend 2 has used a fantastic B2 phrasal verb implicitly by understanding what you are going through.
Oh, to go through. Let's explain that one.
Right. To go through something means to endure or experience a difficult or challenging situation. If someone says, "It sounds like you're going through a lot right now," they are offering profound empathy. They are validating your reality.
Example sentence. It sounds like you're going through a lot right now. I love that phrase. And we can turbocharge this empathy by pairing it with upgrade 4, the sweetest sound.
The sweetest sound?
What is the sweetest sound to any human being in any language? Their own name. Using a person's name naturally and warmly, not like a robotic script, is an absolute game changer in communication.
There's deep science behind this, actually. Your name is inextricably tied to your identity.
Identity, a great B2 word. It means your core sense of self, who you fundamentally are.
Right. We experience something called the cocktail party effect. You can be in a loud, crowded room, but if someone across a room says your name quietly, your brain instantly filters out the noise and hones in on it. When someone uses your name directly in conversation, they are plucking a string that resonates at the very center of your ego.
But as you noted, it has to be calibrated and natural.
Yes.
Because if I stare intensely at you and say, "Hello, expert. It is very good to see you today, expert. What do you think about this data, expert?"
I would be terrified.
Right. I think I'm talking to an artificial intelligence trying to steal my identity. It's way too much. When salespeople overuse my name, it feels highly manipulative, like a cheap trick. But a warm, well-placed name at the beginning or end of a thought. Magical. It snaps me right back into the present moment.
Absolutely. It anchors the empathy.
Let's put this into practice right now. I want to do an interactive role-play exercise for our listeners to practice their speaking and listening skills.
This is a great idea.
But we aren't just going to repeat words. We are going to do a neurological dry run. We are going to train your brain to default to empathy under pressure. I want you, the listener, wherever you are in your car, washing dishes, on a walk to practice using empathy and a name out loud.
Let's set the stage for this dry run. Imagine your coworker, a guy named Ryan, walks into the office break room. He looks exhausted. His shoulders are slouched. He drops his mug in the sink with a sigh. And he says to you, "I am having such a stressful morning. Literally everything is going wrong today."
Now, your instinct might be to ask him what happened or offer a solution. But instead, you are going to respond using empathy, acknowledging his feelings and anchoring it with his name. I'm going to give you the exact prompt and then I will pause. I want you to literally say the words out loud into the room you are in.
Feel the shape of these words in your mouth. Don't be shy.
Okay, I'm going to say it and then I'll wait a few seconds so you can repeat it. Ready?
Hi, Ryan. That sounds heavy. I can imagine how that feels.
Go ahead, say it out loud.
We'll wait right here.
Great job.
Let's do it one more time.
This time, focus on the music of your voice. Nice and steady, low-pitch, warm tone. Ready? Hi, Ryan. That sounds heavy. I can imagine how that feels.
Try it again.
Awesome.
Brilliant. By practicing that out loud, you are building a new neural pathway. You are training your mouth and your brain to default to empathy and validation, rather than scrambling to try to fix Ryan's ruined morning. You gave him a moment of safety.
You've built the connection. But let's get real. What happens when someone sends you a message that makes your blood absolutely boil? What happens when empathy feels totally impossible because you are under attack? The next upgrade is a literal career saver, and it is all about navigating conflict.
Oh, this is so important. We are transitioning now from building connection to protecting it when it's under threat. True communication mastery isn't just about how charismatic you are when the sun is shining and everyone is getting along.
Anyone can do that.
Right. It's about maintaining your dignity and connection when you are under intense pressure and stress.
Which brings us to upgrade 5. Respond, don't react. This is a massive, life-altering distinction. Reacting and responding sound like synonyms, but behaviorally, they are opposite.
Complete opposites.
Reacting is fast, it's hot, it's defensive, and it's highly emotional. Responding is chosen, it's slow, it's calculated, and it's thoughtful.
To understand the difference, we have to look inside the brain during a conflict. When you react, you are essentially letting your amygdala, that primitive fear and anger center of your brain we talked about earlier, hijack the car. In modern psychology and in everyday advanced English, we often use the C1 word, triggered.
Triggered. We hear that word a lot online, but what does it precisely mean in this context?
When you are triggered, you suddenly experience a strong, often negative emotional reaction to a stimulus that makes you feel unsafe. Someone questions your intelligence or criticizes your work, and boom, you are triggered.
Your heart rate spikes.
Yes, your vision narrows and your brain prepares for a physical fight.
So what does this actually look like in the real world? Reacting is basically reading an annoying email, furiously typing out a defensive reply, hitting send while your heart is pounding, and then immediately praying you don't get fired. Right?
We've all been there.
But the damage is already done.
Exactly. You cannot unsend a reaction in real life. That is why psychologists and executive coaches teach the 3-step reset. It is a psychological circuit breaker designed to stop the amygdala hijack.
Okay, what are the 3 steps?
Step 1, breathe. Taking one deep breath forces oxygen to your prefrontal cortex, which is the logical advanced part of your brain. It physically slows your heart rate.
Okay, breathe.
Step 2, name the emotion quietly in your own head. Say to yourself, I am feeling defensive right now, or I am feeling highly undervalued.
Wait, why name it? Just naming it takes away some of its power, doesn't it?
It does, because of a concept called cognitive diffusion. It separates you from the emotion. You realize that you are not the anger itself. You are a calm observer currently experiencing a wave of anger. The wave will pass.
That is so helpful.
And then, step 3, ask yourself a strategic question. What do I want the ultimate result of this interaction to be?
Let's apply this to the coworker battlefield. Imagine you get a direct message on Slack or Teams from a colleague that says, you didn't do this report properly. It's totally wrong. Right. Now, the natural human reaction, the feeling of being triggered, is to fire back instantly to protect your ego. I did exactly what you asked for. Maybe if your instructions were clearer, we wouldn't have this problem.
Let's evaluate the result of that reaction. What have you gained? You might feel a temporary rush of vindication. You have won a momentary argument, perhaps, but you have fundamentally damaged a working relationship that you rely on.
Not worth it.
Winning a petty, momentary argument is never, ever worth losing your dignity.
Dignity. That is a beautiful, powerful C1 word. It means having self-respect, behaving in a way that is worthy of respect from others, and staying calm and elevated under pressure.
Exactly. So instead of reacting, we respond. We run the circuit breaker, we take a breath, we name the emotion. I am feeling attacked and angry. We ask for the desired result. I want this report finished accurately, and I want to maintain my professional reputation.
Right.
Then we utilize a fantastic B2 phrasal verb. Get back to.
Oh, to get back to someone. That means to respond to them at a later time after you have paused to think or gather information. Let's give an example sentence. Let me think for a second. I'll get back to you on that.
Perfect. So you might just say to that coworker, I'm looking at the file now. Let me review my notes, and I'll get back to you on that in 10 minutes.
Wow, that diffuses the bomb immediately.
Right. You have bought yourself time for the adrenaline to leave your system. Or, if you need to respond immediately, you pause, run the reset, and write. Thanks for letting me know. Which specific section do you want changed?
Notice the profound difference there. The reaction was a defensive counterattack. The response is a collaborative, emotionally neutral question. It protects your dignity and forces the other person to be specific rather than just aggressive.
It really is a career saver. And if you are face-to-face with someone who is very emotional or confrontational, we have upgrade 6, the mirror word. I consider this the ultimate tool of emotional judo.
I absolutely love this technique, the mirror word. What is it and how does it work?
The mirror word is a fascinating negotiation and active listening tool popularized by hostage negotiators, actually.
Hostage negotiators?
Yeah, it involves selectively repeating just 1 to 3 key words from the very end of what someone just said, but you say it with an upward curious inflection, like a question. You use it to keep them talking, explaining, and revealing their true motives, all without you having to come up with a brilliant defensive response.
Let's see this in action. Let's say I have a friend who is feeling really down and they sigh heavily and say to me, I just feel like I'm completely failing at life right now.
Okay.
If I use the classic fixing mentality we discussed earlier, I would argue with them. I'd say, no, you're not. You have a great job. You have a nice apartment. But as we learned, that shuts them down. It invalidates their feeling.
Precisely. You are arguing with their reality, which makes them feel misunderstood. But if you use the mirror technique, you simply repeat the emotional core of their sentence, tossing it back to them gently.
So I would just say softly, failing.
Yes. And what happens next is almost like magic. Because of how dopamine and mirroring work in the brain, your friend will feel a sudden urge to expand.
Yeah.
They will likely say, yeah, failing. I just feel like I can't keep up with the bills and my relationship is struggling and I'm exhausted.
Wow.
By mirroring, you didn't agree that they were a failure, but you showed them. I caught the heaviest, most important part of what you just said.
It's not about parroting them like a bird. It's about showing deep, active listening. It opens the door for them to empty their emotional bucket without you giving unasked for advice. You are holding space for someone who feels overwhelmed.
Yes.
And overwhelm is a highly descriptive B2 word that means having far too much to handle, feeling completely buried by burdens or emotions.
But, this does raise a critical counterpoint.
Yeah.
What if you have successfully de-escalated a situation? You've used the mirror word. You've responded calmly instead of reacting, but the other person just keeps pushing.
Oh, man.
What if they won't respect your no? What if they're demanding your time or energy and won't back down?
That is the ultimate test. Okay, you've avoided the fight, but what if the other person just won't take no for an answer? Here's how you become an unbreakable, calm wall.
Once you have the tools to diffuse conflict, you must develop the psychological tools to protect your personal boundaries. And the trick is, you need to do this while remaining deeply human, polite, and approachable. It's a delicate balance of firmness and warmth.
This brings us to upgrade 8, calm repetition. We've all been in situations where someone wants us to do something we simply don't want to do, or they're trying to negotiate with us.
Let's look at that word.
Yes, negotiate is a B2 word. In a business context, it means trying to reach a formal deal or contract. But in daily social life, it means someone is pushing against your stated boundaries, trying to wear you down and get you to change your mind.
The biggest trap most polite, well-meaning people fall into when someone tries to negotiate their boundary is the urge to over-explain. We feel guilty for saying no, so we justify it.
We give all the reasons.
Right. Let's say a colleague invites you to take on an extra, unpaid project at work. You say, no, I can't take that on right now. They ask, oh, come on, why not? Suddenly, you are frantically explaining your heavy schedule, your fatigue, your family commitments, your upcoming vacation.
And what happens when you offer all those explanations?
The explanation instantly becomes an invitation to negotiate. The moment you give them a specific reason, their brain switches into problem-solving mode to defeat your reason.
Oh, no.
You say, I'm too tired. They say, oh, you are tired. Well, you can just do this project next week when you're rested. You say, I have family visiting. They say, great, you can work on it after they go to sleep.
They just find a loophole for everything.
Exactly. You have surrendered your strong boundary by giving them surface area to attack. Calm repetition prevents this entirely. It means repeating your core message politely, without adding new information, and without changing your vocal tone, even when pushed aggressively.
Here's a classic social example. The one-drink negotiation. You are at a party, and you tell your friend, no thanks, I'm not drinking tonight. Your friend, who wants a drinking buddy, says, oh, come on! Just one. It's a celebration. Don't be boring.
If you react emotionally, you might get angry and ruin the party vibe. I said, no, why don't you ever listen to me?
Right.
But using calm repetition, you maintain your steady voice, you smile, and you say exactly the same thing again. I appreciate it, but I'm not drinking tonight.
And if they push a third time?
Yeah.
Because people do. They'll say, seriously, just half a glass for a toast.
You hold the wall. You do not explain that you have an early meeting. You do not explain that you are on a diet. You just say, thanks, but I'm not drinking tonight. You do not get louder. You do not get sharper. You just become a polite, unbreakable, broken record.
I love that. Unbreakable, broken record.
Eventually, the social friction becomes too weird for them. They will stop, and they will subconsciously respect that your boundaries cannot be moved.
I want to push back on this, though.
Okay, hit me.
In a social setting, sure, that works. But what if it is a high-stakes power dynamic? What if I use calm repetition with my boss, who is aggressively demanding I work this weekend? If I just repeat, I'm not working this weekend like a robot, I'm not going to look like a calm wall, I'm going to look insubordinate, and I might get fired. How does this actually scale to power dynamics?
That is a phenomenal distinction, and you were totally right. In a hierarchical power dynamic, you still use calm repetition, but you pivot the repetition away from a flat no and toward a prioritization of resources.
Interesting. How does that sound?
If your boss demands weekend work, you don't repeat, "I won't do it." Instead, you calmly repeat the reality of the trade-off. "I can take on this weekend project, but it means the quarterly report will be delayed until Wednesday. Which would you prefer I prioritize?"
Oh, that's a good.
If the boss says, "I need both," you use calm repetition again. "I understand both are critical. I have capacity for one to be done excellently by Monday," which is the priority.
You remain the calm wall, but the wall is made of logistical reality, not defiance. That is brilliant. It shifts the burden of the impossible choice back onto them. Now, to keep things balanced, while we hold these firm boundaries, we also want to be likable, warm, and highly approachable. That's upgrade 9. Humor. But we must be careful, because not all humor is created equal. We're talking specifically about light, self-deprecating humor.
Yes, humor is a profoundly powerful tool for connection. But sharp humor like sarcasm, cynicism, or making others the butt of the joke actually creates subtle anxiety in a room.
I get nervous.
They do. It operates on the superiority theory of humor. People might laugh, but internally they wonder, am I going to be his next target when I leave the room?
Right.
However, self-deprecating humor, where you gently and safely make fun of your own small, harmless flaws, operates on the relief theory. It breaks tension beautifully.
I use this all the time, especially when I feel the imposter syndrome creeping in. If I am in a high-level meeting and someone asks me a highly complex technical question that I don't know the answer to, instead of freezing up, looking terrified, and ruining my nonverbal posture, I might smile, point to my head, and say, "My brain is currently loading. Give me 1 second to process that."
That is perfect.
Or if I know I tend to talk fast when I'm excited about a topic, I'll start the presentation by saying, "If I speed up and speak too fast today, please feel free to throw a pen at me to slow me down."
It's instantly endearing. It shows high self-awareness. It signals to everyone else in the room that they're safe to be imperfect too. You have lowered the stakes. And this bridges perfectly into our final core point, upgrade 10, healthy vulnerability.
Oh, this is a massive one. Vulnerability is a highly nuanced C1 word. It means the willingness to show emotion or to allow one's weaknesses to be seen or known. It's being real and honest, especially when it might feel a little emotionally risky.
But there's a huge, dangerous difference between healthy vulnerability and oversharing, which is another critical C1 word.
Yes, let's talk about oversharing.
Oversharing is providing way too much deeply personal, unresolved information too soon or in entirely the wrong context. If you meet a new coworker at the coffee machine and within 5 minutes you are telling them the intimate details of your painful divorce, your financial ruin, and your childhood trauma, that is oversharing.
That's a lot for a coffee break.
Way too much. You think you are building a bridge of connection, but you are actually flooding the bridge with a tsunami of emotional weight. It overwhelms the listener, triggering their flight response. They will avoid you next time.
Healthy vulnerability, on the other hand, is sharing a small truth safely. It's avoiding the meaningless answers. Meaningless is a B2 word for things that have no real feeling, depth, or value, like the standard robotic social scripts we use every day.
Exactly. When a colleague asks, "How are you doing today?" the standard, meaningless script is, "Fine, busy, you."
It tells them absolutely nothing.
Right. But healthy vulnerability pauses, drops the armor for just a second, and offers a tiny, manageable glimpse of reality. Honestly, it's been a pretty heavily scheduled week, and I'm feeling it, but I'm managing. How about you?
That is beautiful. You didn't dump your deepest, darkest problems on them, but you were real.
Yeah.
You permitted the conversation to be authentic. You gave them permission to say, "Yeah, I'm exhausted too."
You show that you are fundamentally human. And that is the ultimate goal of all these upgrades we've discussed today. Whether it's mastering your nonverbal posture to signal safety, using the mirror word to navigate conflict, or employing calm repetition to protect your peace, the overarching goal is to communicate with clarity, dignity, and deep humanity.
We've covered everything from your micro expressions and posture to your deepest vulnerabilities. But stick around because we have a special bonus to lock all this vocabulary and psychology into your brain permanently.
We have journeyed through a massive amount of psychological terrain today. But ultimately, if we distill all these scientific sources, evolutionary concepts, and vocabulary down to one final provocative thought, it is this. The most advanced communication hack in the world isn't a specific word you memorize. It isn't even the perfectly calculated upright posture. It is the silent safety and space you provide for others to exist.
I love that, the silent safety.
When you master your own inner calm, when you actively choose to take a breath and respond instead of letting your amygdala react, when you listen with genuine empathy rather than aggressively trying to fix people, you accidentally give everyone else around you permission to be calm too. Your internal steadiness becomes a tangible gift to the entire room. You become the anchor in the storm.
That is such a powerful, resonant thought to carry with us into our workplaces and our homes, and to help you actually carry these lessons into your daily life. As promised, here's your bonus at the end.
Yes, we call this the ultimate word tour strategy. It is designed for maximum retention.
To truly master the B2 and C1 words we explored today, you cannot just passively memorize a vocabulary list. Rote memorization is a quick way to forget them by tomorrow. Instead, tomorrow morning, I want you to pick exactly one word from today's deep dive. Maybe you picked the C1 word empathy, or maybe you picked dignity, or perhaps the B2 phrasal verb get back to.
Make that single word your secret theme for the entire day. Write it on a sticky note and put it on your laptop. Look for it in the emails you read. Listen for it in the podcasts or movies you consume. Watch how many times you notice the concept of that word happening in the real world around you. By hyper-focusing on one word in context, you weave it permanently into the neural fabric of your active vocabulary.
It works like absolute magic. Now, before you go, we want to hear from you. We want you to actively participate in this community. Go down to the comment box right now and tell us what is one keyword and one idiom we explained today that you're going to use this week.
Right.
Write your answer in the comment box.
It is a phenomenal way to commit to your learning out loud.
And also, prove to yourself and to us that you are committed to this journey of long-term improvement. At the end of your comment, write "I am consistent" in the comment box.
Right.
Let us see who has the dedication to make it all the way through this deep dive.
We also value your feedback immensely. Write your feedback below. Which kind of topic do you want for the next video? Do you want more deep dives on complex workplace English? Or perhaps more focus on navigating deep emotional conversations with family? Let us know what serves you best.
If you like this video, do the hype. Smash that like button, share this with a friend who might need a communication confidence boost, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a deep dive.
Furthermore, if you want to read articles about English to boost your reading skills, go into the description box. There I've provided a link. If you subscribe just once, you'll receive free articles in your email for free every time. It is a fantastic curated resource for passive learning.
And if you enjoyed this podcast, there are many more podcasts on my channel. Go check them out and binge watch your favorites to keep leveling up your speaking and listening skills.
Remember, every single conversation you have from today onward is just another wonderful chance to practice. You do not need to be perfect. You just need to be present, and you need to be human.
So the next time you find yourself staring at that perfectly normal message, wondering how it all went wrong, just remember to breathe, adjust your posture, let the anxiety wash over you, and ask yourself, are you reacting blindly to the moment, or are you truly responding to the person in front of you?